It doesn't matter where you live. There are opportunities right around you right now, right in your backyard, in your own community. It could be small town USA. As long as we see a little bit of growth, or at least not a declining town, there are deals there and you can find them and make it work for your business.
You're listening to Flip Empire, the show committed to helping real estate entrepreneurs who want to build their empire without sacrificing their life. Your success and freedom starts now with your host, Alex Pardo.
On today's episode, number 757, I'm going to be interviewing my friend Andrew Lucas, and we're going to be talking specific strategies that you can use to find deals in your local community. Andrew's going to lay down and lay out some very simple, practical steps that you guys can do for free to go out and connect with motivated sellers to find deals in your local market. So if you're just getting started, if you don't have any money, you don't have time, this is the episode you need to listen to so that you can go out, generate leads, have conversations with sellers, because I always say conversations lead to conversions, and how you can ultimately close more deals and make more money. FYI, Andrew is a seasoned vet. He's a pro. He went from essentially running a hobby, right? He wasn't even running a business. Wholesaling was his hobby, to a consistent deal finder, flipping houses, wholesaling, over 100 rental doors. So somebody that you can learn a lot from, and somebody who's just extremely genuine, down to earth, loves teaching and helping people. And so I think you're going to get a lot out of today's podcast episode. But before we dive in, if you are interested in finding, funding, and profiting from your first cash flowing storage facility within 6 to 12 months, without necessarily having to use your own money or even needing any experience, head over to storagewins.com. Just take a minute to apply. And if I like what you have to say, we'll reach out, schedule a call so that you can learn more about how you can create time freedom specifically with the storage asset class. Head over to storagewins.com. Now, with that being said, let me introduce you and take you to episode 757 with Andrew Lucas. Welcome back, my friends, to another masterclass on the Flip Empire Show. Guys, I'm pumped about today's guest because he and I have known each other for, I don't know, probably 2-3 years now. We were at a mastermind, an event a couple years back in Tampa, and just instantly connected with the guy. He's got good energy, good vibe. So I want to introduce you to my buddy, Andrew Lucas from Deal Finders Club. And guys, today's podcast is going to be specifically aimed, and we want to help those people that want to get in real estate. We want to get them off the sidelines and into the game. If you've been listening to the show for a while and you kind of know my path and my journey, and you're about to hear Andrew's, real estate can change your life, right? But you gotta break past the fear barrier. You have to take action, as they say, and you just got to get in the game. And the education and the knowledge is going to come from the experience. And so today's podcast episode is going to be targeted for those people who have not yet gotten off the sidelines into the game. And we're going to be talking specifically about how you can find deals in your community. We're going to talk about mindset. We're going to talk about specific action steps you can take to get started. And one note here for those who have done deals before I introduce my buddy Andrew into the conversation. I've always believed you should have one hand up to a mentor, one hand down to a mentee. We should be a funnel for valuable content and information. So if you have a friend, a family member who you know has been wanting to get into real estate, this episode, I'm sure you're going to find some nuggets in it, even though you have experience, but share this with them because we want to get more people in this industry, in this business. We need more good people. And it's an opportunity to collaborate. Don't view people as competition, view them as collaborative partners. So Andrew, my man, with that said, dude, it's awesome to have you on the show. I think this is the first time for you on the Flip Empire Show.
It is the first time, and I'm pumped to be here. I'm so excited, Alex, that you've got such a great audience. I'm flattered that you asked me to be here to share, because you've been doing this for so long that you build up such a great community. I just hope I can bring value to you and those that are listening today. So,
oh man,
man.
From the conversations we've had, and from me having checked out your podcast, Deal Finders Club, and just the Facebook group that you've built and the content I see you putting out, man, I have no doubt you're going to add value. So, brother, with that being said, I want to start with a broad question. I'm going to zoom out a little bit, and then we're going to kind of dive into the specific, because I really want people over the course of the next 20 to 30 minutes to really walk away with actionable content. And I know that you have the goods when it comes to that. So why don't we start here? What is it you feel prevents people from getting in the game, right? Like we hear so much about people that talk, they want to get into real estate, they want to break from their 9 to 5, they want freedom, they want cash flow, but very few actually do it, right? So what is it that prevents people? Because I think awareness is key. And then I'm going to ask you a follow-up question to that.
Absolutely. I know that there's a lot of different reasons, like minute reasons of, well, I work from 7 to 4, whatever, there's a lot of little different things that people will have, what I call an excuse to not get into real estate. But I think it boils totally down to our lack of ability to want to be uncomfortable. In America, we are blessed to be mostly fairly comfortable, right? Air conditioning usually works, and so we're just born and bred and gone through our education system and things like that, where it's how do we make things around us easier? How do we make things comfortable around us that we don't have to stretch and we don't have to worry and stress about what's happening around us. It's so much about relieving stress. If you're going to go into real estate, if you're going to go start this entrepreneurial journey, or quit your job or do it while you still have a job, it is very uncomfortable. There's a lot of uncomfortable conversations.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things you have to do that you don't know the outcome. You don't really know what you're doing half the time. And you have to mentally be ready to be uncomfortable and embrace it and go towards the discomfort so that you can break through. And as you know, years of doing this business, there is another level of discomfort. When you start getting comfortable, that's when you're not growing and you're not building.
Man,
so
100%.
That's number one.
Yeah, 100%. There's so much to unpack there. The follow-up for you is, now that people hear that, listen to it, and it makes sense logically, how do we get past that fear? How do we embrace the discomfort in your mind? Or how would you recommend that people kind of break through that barrier? And specifically, I'd like to address those that are listening that are maybe older in life or have a family. Obviously, they have responsibilities. They're the breadwinner, or they're responsible for putting food on the table. Their 9 to 5 provides that for them. And so there's a level of comfort and security there, but they're not happy. They're not fulfilled. Yeah. They want more out of life. How do people build that bridge to get through the discomfort, or at least just embrace it?
Yeah. So there's a lot of different ways. What comes to mind for me is the risk. When you're going out to this business or any business, there's a lot of risk involved, and there's some of it's perceived risk, some of it's real risk, financial, whatever. And relieving or reducing that risk is going to allow you to get uncomfortable more often. So what do I mean by that? Well, it's education, and not just what you learned in school or just podcasts, but specific, specialized knowledge about what you're going to do. Not, I like real estate, my friend's a realtor, they make money, I'm going to go be an investor. That's not education. It's specific, specialized knowledge for what it is that you want to do. Now, you can't stay there all the time. You can't stay there for years and not take action. It's learning those things, getting the knowledge, then you can take the uncomfortable action. Yeah. Right. So mitigating that risk. And the other piece of it is, and this comes from my wife and I, we did have my wife and I, we work together. We started these businesses together. So we do every 6 weeks, we go and have a counseling session together, because awesome. As the counselor, she's I guess whatever you call it, she's in grad school, whatever. She said, she was like, I can't believe what y'all do. You're married, you have the business together, you have 3 kids together. That is a lot of stress. And we said, well, that's why we're here. So what we do in those meetings, and those, we kind of call it our coaches, is we sit there and we make guardrails. Okay. So if you're going into this business, if you're trying to start something new, you can't just leave everything else behind.
Yeah.
There has to be guardrails. There has to be non-negotiables. There has to be things that says, you know what, my 9 to 5 provides for my food, my shelter, my kids, my gas, whatever. I will not jeopardize that 9 to 5, which
Yeah.
means real estate may not be able to happen. That you may not be able to do this specialized education or get the coaching or, run comps between the hours of 9 to 5. And that's okay. But that has to be defined before you start going down this uncomfortable road, because then you're allowed to have take uncomfortable action, take the steps needed without jeopardizing
Right.
what you have. Does
Yeah,
that make
yeah.
sense?
And man, I love the way that you frame that, like guardrails, right? And how do you mitigate the risk and not essentially sacrificing the golden goose, like protecting what it is that provides for your family, but also understanding that in order for you, and as cliche, or some might say this is corny and played out, but in order for you to have a different life, you're going to have to take different actions, right? In order for
Mhm.
you to get different results, you got to do something different, right? It's the
Yeah,
whole Einstein's definition of insanity, continuing to do the same thing over and over,
that's right.
expecting different results. So I love the way you frame that, man, as far as guardrails, because I get that question all the time. It's like, I have so many friends, Andrew, that have reached out to me and say, hey, man, I want to get involved in storage, or I want to get involved in real estate. And so many people talk about it, but yet very few people actually do something about it. So whatever you're willing to sacrifice, just know that something has to be sacrificed in order for you to ultimately have a different life or lifestyle. Right.
Yeah.
And you get to determine and decide what that is and what you're willing to sacrifice, whether it's time, weekends, nights, you get to decide what that is. Also, one thing I want to share with you, man, is, and I'm kind of curious where your thoughts are, is, you talk about specialized knowledge. And I truly believe that if we're in tune with our unique abilities and our talents, the gifts that God's given us, we can leverage those to be really, really good at one aspect of real estate. And then you find collaborative partners to do more with together. Now, this advice maybe isn't for everybody, but if you find yourself and you're conflicted because you don't have a lot of time, but let's just say you're a really, really, really good marketer. Well, trust me, there's a lot of real estate investors out there that suck at marketing, and
Yeah.
you can provide a valuable service to them and participate in certain deals with them. So I don't know what your thoughts are there, man, but I'd love for you to kind of riff on the idea of people that might have limited resources but have specialized knowledge on a specific area, or they bring something to the table, how they can leverage that and go find people that maybe have what they don't have.
Yeah, absolutely. This is one of the things that when people come to us, we have our local meetups. We do meetups basically every week in South Carolina. Okay.
Mhm.
And we have folks that come to us and ask for help, and we coach them and teach them or just guide them along. And one of the biggest things is because wholesaling was so popular, it has been so popular the last 6 years or so, everybody wanted to be a wholesaler.
Yeah.
And my first question was, why? Can you actually fit this in? Wholesaling is a very tough job, and you know this. It's not a whole lot of fun. and when you have a 9 to 5 job and you have good income and maybe you have savings, that you could skip that wholesaling part.
Yeah.
Wholesaling was there if you had no money and you needed to earn quick cash. You could skip right over that. So one good example, a friend of mine, one of our students and partners now, is he came to us and was like, I really want to wholesale. I really want to wholesale. But as we sat down and kind of went into, who are you? What are your goals? What is it that you want to actually do here? We found out that none of that aligned with being a wholesaler.
Yeah.
But he had a very special niche. Is he's bilingual, right? So he speaks Spanish. He's from Colombia, so he speaks it fluently, and he teaches Spanish here in Colombia. So he's able to connect with a whole nother community that wants to invest in real estate, that wants to buy houses. So instead of him going and wholesaling and trying to find sellers, he went and found other wholesalers that needed property sold because he had cash buyers in his community, right? So he is, and like to your example of, I'm a really good marketer, he's a really good dispo guy. He can get rid of houses all over the Southeast. It is incredible what he does, where he finds these buyers and everything. So he's making things happen. And I think closing like 60, 70 deals a year.
Wow.
As a dispo guy, right?
Incredible.
And so that is looking at who you are. And if I'm speaking to someone else, like, who are you? Where do you want to be? And what resources do you currently have?
Yes.
Let's work with that.
Yeah, I love that, man. So as a takeaway, what I want to encourage and incentivize, well, maybe incentivize is not the right word, but maybe it is actually, because I think the fruits of that will be very promising for you. But take stock and inventory of all your assets. Sometimes people, when I talk about assets, people think about like real estate, stocks, bonds, money, like, but what are the intangible assets you have? The skill sets, the resources, like document all that and then figure out like what lights you up. What's a giftedness that you have that you can tap into? And then how can you apply that to be a part of deals? Like that could be a potential way for you to get started. Hey there, stop. I promised to get you back to the show, but let me ask you a couple of questions. Are you happy with the money that you're making in your real estate business? Are you generating any cash flow? Are you building wealth? Do you feel like you're making progress? Or are you just constantly chasing deals and going after the next transaction and the next transaction? Well, I can tell you from personal experience that there's an easier way, and it's not with single family homes. I believe that self-storage is the best asset class in real estate, hands down, because we're not dealing with tenants, toilets, there's automation, it's a recession-resistant asset class, and it's a business that has the benefits of real estate. If what you're ultimately after is cash flow, building wealth, and time freedom, I want to invite you to just take a few minutes to apply. Go to www.storagewins.com, where you can learn more about our Storage Wins coaching program. And I can help you generate cash flow from your first storage facility within the next 6 to 12 months without needing to use your money or even needing any experience. So head over to www.storagewins.com. And if we like what you have to say, we'll schedule a call. And I look forward to connecting with you. Now back to the show. So man, Andrew, I love that example. Yeah. I think it's, by the way, that's super awesome that because Dispo is not talked about a lot, but the fact that he's good at that and then he's bilingual, like that's a perfect example of tapping into a resource, a giftedness, a tool, a strength that you have. And so I think that's going to resonate with a lot of people. Well, man, I want to transition the conversation because you are an expert when it comes to finding deals in your local community. And I realize that there's probably a lot that you could talk about there, but like, how can people listening to this, watching this, how can they just start to focus on their backyards? Like, what are some of the seeds that they need to plant or the breadcrumbs they need to leave in order to start doing deals locally in their community?
Yeah, I love that. I appreciate the intro there. And I just have to put this out there that it doesn't matter where you live. There are opportunities right around you right now, right in your backyard, in your own community. We talked about kind of where you are going with storage units. We're the same way as far as it could be small town USA. Like as long as we see a little bit of growth or at least not a declining town, there are deals there and you can find them and make it work for your business. So how do we do that? That's the very first question people ask. And a lot of times people want to do this without a whole lot of money. So the first 5 things I tell people to do is what we call the wide fan, just because it's easier for me to remember that way, which is to reach out to wholesalers. So how do you find the wholesalers? Well, they're on Facebook, but also the little bandit signs on the side of the road.
Yep.
Go call them and say you want to buy something, right? You want to find the deal. So wholesalers. And then you're driving for dollars. And just to spell that out, if you've never heard that before, it's literally getting in your car, but I like actually walking for dollars. If you have a puppy, take it, go. You don't have to be in your own neighborhood, but start in your own neighborhood, but then walk around other neighborhoods. Just drive your dog to another neighborhood, get out. People are more friendly. They will talk to you if you have a puppy. I don't know what it is, or kids, right? If you just got kids, just drag them along and walk around and look at the houses that need help. Tall grass, pine straw in the driveway, things that are in disrepair.
Yep.
And if you're walking, you can actually talk to the neighbors. And I'm telling you right now, these deals are golden. One of our students did this in their own, where they were living, went walking. We got off of a call. They did what I asked them to do, and they found 3 deals from one landlord who was walking, or the landlord wasn't there. They were walking. They found out who owned the property, got the phone number from the neighbor, right? It's just that easy. If you get out and, again, get uncomfortable, you've got to talk to people. All right, so that's 2, wholesalers, driving for dollars or walking for dollars. Facebook. You get into the groups. Go not to where real estate investors live and talk and communicate, but go to your local community page. There's probably a handful of them.
That's
Ours
gold.
is, I'm in Columbia, so Columbia stuff, whatever, buy and sell Columbia. If you just get into those pages and make some posts about, hey, I want to buy a house, I'm looking for a fixer upper, you're talking to a whole nother audience. And this is weird. I know it's odd for people listening to you and my podcast. They think they think the whole world thinks like us.
They don't. The majority of the world does not think like us.
Nobody thinks like us.
Yeah.
But those other Facebook groups are full of thousands and thousands of people that don't even, like, a beat up house that doesn't even ring a bell to them.
Yeah.
So when you say that, you can get leads. But also, of course, on Facebook, let people know what you're doing.
That's right.
And then you want to get to the agents. Our tip for finding real estate agents is go to Zillow and look at the agents that have that have listings. All right. So hit them first, because they're likely getting other deals. They probably have some in their back pocket. They might have some that are like, they don't want to deal with it. I just got a text. We're buying one from an agent today because the house, they don't want to deal with
That's right.
cleaning everything. It's just junky.
Yeah.
If you go to my live from yesterday, you'll see the house, my Facebook live. And the last one is your own network, meaning friends, family, work, if you can talk about it at work, church, relationships, whatever it is. Telling everybody, opening your mouth to tell people you are in the business, you're looking for a deal, you're looking for a house or a property that needs love. Those are the words we use. Yeah. And that will build your momentum, build your pipeline, start talking to people for free. These are all free methods.
That's right.
Before we always encourage our students to do this before you pay for marketing, because you will learn how to talk to people, how to explain what you want, how to explain, what's a good property for you and what's not a good property for you. And then spend the money on marketing, then send out your postcards.
Andrew, we're cut from the same cloth. One of the things that I share with our Storage Wins coaching clients is several things to touch on that buffers your point. Number one, I always share with them, when people think of storage, they need to be thinking of you first. And if they don't, then you haven't entered that conversation, and you probably haven't done a good enough job of planting seeds, leaving breadcrumbs with people, letting them know what you do and how they can benefit from sending you storage opportunities. Now, replace the word storage and replace that asset class with single family houses in your community. You can do the same thing. Be known as the person that buys fixer-uppers, as an example. The only way that happens, Andrew, to your point, is by talking to people. Now, unfortunately, that's the one area that, there's introverts listening to this, and that's a whole nother conversation. But there's people that sometimes, I think that goes back to how we started the podcast about breaking through that fear and discomfort. But don't be intimidated. They're just another person. And one of the things I've always shared with clients, and I think I've talked about this on the podcast in the past, is anytime you connect with somebody, they're going to fall into one of four categories, and kind of follow my train of thought here. They're a buyer of real estate. They're a seller of real estate. They're potentially a lender of real estate, or they know one of the above. So plant seeds with people, talk to people, let them know what you do. But I think the key is let them know how they might benefit from actually sending you an opportunity that you're looking for, right? Whether it's a partner in the deal, a marketing joint venture fee, like Andrew, I don't want to speak for you, but I don't believe you're an attorney or a CPA or anything like that. So we'll do the classic CYA, like consult with the pros. This is for entertainment purposes anyway. Results are not typical, all that good stuff. But, in all seriousness, like just talking to people, letting them know what you do, specifically what you're looking for. Brother, that's how I got my first storage facility. Is I got very specific on my storage deal avatar. And then I just started sharing it with everybody in my network. And then it was a friend of mine that said, hey, check your email. I think I found exactly what you're looking for. It was only because I had clarity, and then I shared it with people.
Yep. That's it.
That's it. Awesome.
And you can do that with single family houses, with duplexes, with quads or apartments, and then of course storage. It's understanding, because you took the time to get the knowledge of what you needed, and then you were clear about it, and then you just shared it. You got uncomfortable and shared it with people.
That's right. That's right.
And there you are.
I'm curious for people that I don't want people to overthink this. So like, let's, in an effort to try to simplify this, what does that conversation look like when you're reaching out to somebody, letting them know what you do, what you're looking for, or maybe it's even written communication by text or by messenger? Like, how do you advise and recommend that people approach a stranger and starting to build that relationship, opening up that dialogue about what they do, and take it from there?
Yeah, approaching the strangers for us, it's always. I mean, you have to be honest, and that this is this is part of a little bit of a cultural thing of where it's hard for us to be honest to a fault, right? To be honest about our faults and our vulnerabilities, and tell people, I don't know
Mm,
what I don't know. Like, I don't know what I don't know, but I do know ABC. So, for example, you were able to tell your friends what type of storage unit you needed. I'm willing to bet that that clarity and what you said to them was probably pretty small of a box. But now, after doing it for years, you've probably added things because you didn't know you needed
mhm.
to find a deal or a complex that was on a main road, right? You didn't know that
Yeah.
yet, but now
Right.
you do.
Right.
So we don't know everything when we go talk to the strangers or your friends or your family. So let them know, hey,
Mm,
I'm looking for a house that needs love. That's where we start. As you do this, as you talk to 10 people, you'll know, you know what? It's a house that needs love, but it can't be on a 4-lane road,
yeah.
right? And then you talk to another 10 people. It's a house that needs love, 1 story, not a 4-lane road, no pools, right? So you start getting and filling in those blanks, but
Yeah.
it's so hard. A lot of times it's so hard for people to get out there and do that without, because they want to know everything. They
Hmm.
want to know all those details, all those variables. And unfortunately, you, if you try to know everything, you'll never get started. You'll never
Ah,
get out there
yeah. Amen.
and never
Preach,
get a
man.
deal.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's it. That's it. Don't ever wait for the stars to align, because you'll be waiting forever. You'll never do anything. And in the meantime, people are out there taking action, passing you by. And I don't say that to compare to others, but focus on you and your journey, and
Mhm.
ask yourself, like, what are you going to do today to move the ball forward towards your vision, towards your goals, right? Like, what action can you take today to get you closer? And whoever said it, it's like that 1-2% better each and every day. And you're going to have the compounding effect, right,
Mhm.
over time. So, Andrew, I love it, man. As we start to kind of wind
Yeah.
down here, I want to go ahead and ask you first, before I ask you one or two final questions, where can people connect with you? I know that you launched a Facebook group that,
Mhm.
just a cool community that you're building, and you're putting out a lot of content. So where are some of the places where people can reach out to you, find out more about what you have going on?
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate that. So for the Facebook group, we've had a great community for South Carolina. So we focus on South Carolina deals, laws, things, how to do deals here. But as people have been, coming and using our systems and our methods across the nation, we went ahead and opened up Deal Finders Nation Facebook group for everybody and anybody. And we share the same tips, but obviously we're not geared towards South Carolina there.
Yeah.
So that's a great place. But you can text me on my cell phone. I'll give it to you now.
Awesome.
It's I don't mind quick text. I don't mind 15-minute calls to talk about what might be your next step. That's what we do a lot of, helping our community just take the next step, right? We can't solve anybody's problems in 15 minutes, but we can help with the next step. So 803 216 5750. Shoot a text there. You can call it, leave a message. I probably won't answer it all the time, but
Hmm.
shoot me a text for sure, and I'll be able to get back to you. Love to help you out. I think you got the website dealfindersclub.com. So
Yep.
we're always there. Love having our community. If you're in South Carolina or anywhere near it, and you want to come to our events, the events are posted on that website. So
That's beautiful, man.
yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. And for those of you watching, dealfindersclub.com, it's on the screen. Or if you're driving, 803-216-5750, shoot Andrew a text. And by the way, guys, I'm always encouraging, it's awesome the fact that he actually put his mobile number out there, because Andrew's somebody like me who values relationships. And so reach out, but remember, here's just a tip. Reach out with value. Don't just reach out to, like, quote unquote, pick his brain, or just, like, you know what I mean? It's like, build a relationship by giving significantly more than you're ever willing to extract, especially if you're getting started. That's the mindset you should have. And I think, unfortunately, too many people take it the opposite way. So lead with value, seek to build a relationship. And to me, that's where the true value is. Andrew, man, as we wind down, what are some of the books that have had the biggest influence on your life and business? And what are you currently reading now?
There's a couple of books. So I've got to lead with the Bible. That every day we have an awesome reading plan this year where we're going through it chronologically for the year. So this has been great. That's the first thing each morning. And I will admit sometimes I cheat and do it audible, but that's okay. It's still coming in. That's right. And but for business, this one it doesn't get mentioned a lot, so I'll share it. It's called Hold, and I'm picturing it. It's a yellow book. I think Gary Keller may have done the intro on it, but he's not the author. But anyway, it's called Hold. And back when my wife and I first got started, we had 3 rental houses. All we were thinking retirement. They weren't bought real great. We made a lot of mistakes in the beginning. Yep. And our agent handed me this book, and she said, "Hey, you should read it. Check it out." I don't even think she read it. I think she was told that it was good. And I read it, and it laid out and it made it real for me that you could actually live and make money by buying rental houses. And so we were able to, my wife and I, quote, retired. We quit our 9-to-5 jobs based on building a business that was rental houses, based on building cash flow from rental houses. And so that was in that book. Not a lot of people mention it, but
no, I've actually, thank you for sharing that, brother, because I don't think I've ever, I'm going to share my screen here a quick second and then we're going to wrap the show, but I don't think I've ever seen or heard, is it this one right here?
Yeah, that's it.
Hold. Okay, Hold. So it's How to Find, Buy, and Rent Houses for Wealth. And the authors are Steve Chater, Janice Doty, and Jim McKissack.
Yeah, so the forward is by Gary Keller. That's why I see it on my bookshelf, and his name is on the top. But he didn't write any of it. So there you go. That's what branding does for you.
Nice. I love. Well, dude, thank you for sharing that because I've actually never heard that book before.
Yeah, so nice. Fantastic book for rental property investing, and there's a lot of other ones that I'm sure we can go down a list, but.
Nice, start there. Awesome. Well, guys, I really want to encourage you, connect with Andrew Lucas, just a good dude, down to earth, knows a ton about real estate. And, take one thing that you've heard here, whether it's creating an inventory list of your assets and resources, whether it's going to Facebook, starting conversations, letting people know what you do, go out into there's more than enough deals for you guys to go out in your backyard, your local community, start doing deals, help people make money. That's what it's all about, guys. So, dealfindersclub.com, or you can text him. So Andrew, my man, really appreciate you coming on and sharing your wisdom and knowledge. We're really making an effort, guys, to condense the show, kind of avoid the journey of how people got started and just pack it with content and value. And so that's the aim and the goal on every show. And Andrew's delivered. So Andrew, buddy, really appreciate you, man.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, guys, we'll connect in the next one. Take care. All right, my friend, I hope you enjoyed that Flip Empire episode and got a lot of value out of it. Make sure to check the show notes page for any resources that were mentioned. And speaking of resources, honestly, I don't think I've done the best job of sharing with you my top curated, highly recommended tools and resources that I use in my business or have used in my business. In some cases, these are affiliate relationships with people that I highly trust and respect. And I know these tools and resources can help you and your business go to the next level. And as an ethical bribe, if you decide to try out one of these resources using my link, I will go ahead and send you an unadvertised bonus. I'll send you something of high value. All you got to do is shoot me an email, alex@flipempire.com. Go ahead and let me know that you tried out this resource, and however I can help you getting started with that. Chances are that I know it very, very well and currently use it or have used it. So make sure to check that out, flipempire.com/resources. And if I can be of help or service to you in any way, just shoot me an email, alex@flipempire.com, and I will do anything I can for you. Have an amazing day, and I'll catch you on the next show.